I'm in a bad fucking mood right now.
Yeah, that was me. Caught on one of Tim Pool's live streams back in 2017. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Hey, I have a question. Has anyone said anything to you derogatory about your hat?
No, they actually haven't.
I was talking to people up on the Antifa and the left said that people down here were making derogatory comments about the LGBT community.
Well, I haven't heard anything yet.
Truth be told, I should have seen it coming. That night, Tim made some interesting remarks about my bisexuality that kicked off a series of, let's just say, revealing and challenging interactions with both him personally and the broader nuances of photojournalism. I'll spare you the details to avoid a lawsuit, but this encounter was my insane introduction to the complexities of media and activism. It wasn't just about capturing images at that point, it was about how those images captured me. Before we begin, it's crucial to understand that my aim as a photojournalist is not to pick sides or paint a narrative. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to photojournalism. Regardless, this isn't about the stories I document. This is about how the stories that I documented affected me on a personal level. Now, where was I? Oh, right. Tim Pool-related trauma and the nuanced politics of journalism aside, on May 12th, 2017, Boston saw what you might call a protest, though Tim Pool hit the nail on the head when he called it LARPing. Both sides, frankly, didn't come off great. You had Antifa on one side, waving the banner, per liberal, nearly anarchist ideals, claiming to fight for several marginalized groups, including the LGBTQ+ community. Now on the right, we have, let's call them the Oath Keepers. Now, it's important to clarify that not everyone on both sides strictly belongs to these groups. These are just the predominant names that captured the media. When I chatted with Tim Pool, we talked about how both sides were hurling Nazi accusations at each other. I witnessed a lot of arrests that day, macing from the cops, fists being thrown, everybody at each other's throats. This protest was just insane. No, wait. This whole day was insane. I quickly learned a few things that day. 1, never wear all black to any of these events. White t-shirts and jeans are your friend. 2, even if it's fake, attach a student ID or a journalist tag to your bag or person. You're less likely to get the shit beat out of you. 3, I also learned quickly that Antifa aren't fans of cameras. It's a bit odd, you know? Despite my ally-themed hat, despite being openly bisexual, I faced a lot of threats from Antifa. And 4, networking in this field is complicated. It will make you question your entire moral compass. After the protest, Tim took me out to dinner with a couple of the right-leaning protesters. The discussion quickly turned awkward when they brought up the whole trans people and bathrooms dilemma. I just sat there, wearing my pride hat, trying to eat my free nachos in peace. I also learned a couple of other things that evening, but that's a discussion best left to my therapist, possibly a lawyer. Let's fast forward. August 18, 2017, another rally underway. And it quickly escalated into a riot spilling on a Tremont Street in Boston. Antifa, the charged Tremont Street. These are the type of people who claim that they're fighting for marginalized groups for LGBTQ+ rights. As we neared the Godfrey Hotel, the riot came to a standstill of sorts. And it's there that I was maced indirectly by a cop while standing behind one of the protesters. And then I watched an old man get thrown over a cop bike. This event affected me on such a personal level. I kept thinking to myself, these are the people I'm supposedly aligned with in ideology? The very people who are pushing me in front of an ambulance and throwing weaponized water bottles at me? It was after this event where I started to become numb to it all. My personal views, I quickly shifted to I don't care, let's photograph the world burning. The right will spit on me, the left is going to throw bottles of piss at me. I reached a breaking point that day, and I made the blunt conclusion, if this is the reality of the activism I'm documenting, then frankly, they could all get fucked. I'll just stand here and document them destroying themselves and their cause. August 31st, 2019, and brought you something you don't see every day. The first and likely last straight pride march. It was celebrating heterosexuality. I mean, kind of odd, but hey, something to photograph, right? They set up this rally purely to, start some shit. That day, I saw a bunch of queer counter-protesters get unfairly maced by cops. And many people arrested that day were queer and trans activists. If you ask me, I think it would have been super fucking hilarious if absolutely no counter-protesters showed up at that event. There are only a few hundred supporters, well, there were well over 1,000 counter-protesters. They got exactly what they fucking wanted. They got chaos, they got riots, they got counter-protests, they got the attention that they wanted. And maybe I'd find it hilarious because this is just how these events have shaped my worldview. I'm jaded as shit. It's the same thing every fucking time.
Let's go to Pride Parade, June 2017. It's the polar opposite of what I've been showing you so far. The atmosphere, rather than tension and violence, rather than people beating the shit out of each other, is pure joy. Everyone was happy. Everyone was encouraged to be there. I didn't see a single negative thing that day. You know, it's funny. Journalists, they want to photograph the bad. They want to capture the ugly because the ugly gets attention. The ugly is what makes the money. The violence is what captures people. Everyone wants to hear the drama. Everyone wants to hear the bad shit. It gets exhausting. Greg Marinovich, a member of the Bang Bang Club, captured internal conflict faced by photojournalists. He said, "Good pictures, tragedy and violence certainly make powerful images. It is what we get paid for. But there's a price extracted with every such frame. Some of the emotion, the vulnerability, the empathy that makes us human is lost every time the shutter is released." His confession sheds light on the profound emotional toll that capturing such raw human experiences can extract from those behind the camera.